And we're live. We're
Welcome.
live.
Welcome to the Bailey podcast.
No, none of that. None of that. Every time I try and get any time serious with it, I was like, who am I? Who am I trying to make it sound like I'm a professional?
No, you are.
No,
You are.
but it's good to actually do one in person though.
I know
do
the
it.
first one,
The first one in person.
and it's not a bad place to be right now.
No, looking out over the beach. So it's doing it over video. It's great, but obviously, like the conversation would just be different if you could see each other.
And you get that. Yeah, I mean, on video you get the 5-second delay as well.
Yeah.
So you get the what?
Is it what? Yeah,
Confusing
like
thing.
a full Skype call. But no, thank you, Ashley. Thanks for coming on. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming to chat to us. I've already had a little chat beforehand about what we can and can't go over.
Yeah. Oh, we've been here for 10 minutes talking about that.
Yeah, we got it all out of the way, out of the system quickly. But I already asked how you're finding it in Australia and how you're doing so far.
Yeah, it was a very different life. I mean, what I've said, and I've said this to a couple of friends already back home I've talked to, is it just feels like I'm away on another season at the moment, if I'm being honest. I
got the exact same
You know
thing.
what I mean?
Feels like it's on season. For the
it's like
first
I'm
bit.
going home in a couple months. It doesn't feel like I'm out here to stay, which is the plan.
The plan is to stay then?
Well, yeah. I mean, at least the year. Definitely, I say definitely, but most likely 2, probably 3. And then with the job I've got, they are trying to offer me permanent, like the possibility of permanent residency. And you know that's a big thing because it's really hard to get permanent residency in Australia.
Yeah,
and I would love it. It just depends on how the next kind of couple months go and sort of thing. But yeah, it's kind of like getting over in my head that no, I'm not just here for a little 5-week or 5-month holiday. It's more.
Yeah, I had it in my head beforehand. Even when we were on seasons, where everyone goes on season, most people are running away from something, even if they know what it is or not. Then Australia is like it's the haven of most travellers from Britain because it's the furthest point you can go before you start coming back.
Yeah,
so it's
definitely, and it's kind of everything that we want.
Oh yeah,
sun, beach.
Australia is everything Britain wishes it could be. We're sitting here now on a patch of grass in the glorious sun, and it's not even the brightest, clearest day.
No, it's kind of cloudy.
Yeah.
But it's still boiling, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's still warm. We've got the beach right there, and
there's palm trees, and
people are sitting out on the grass.
Everyone's
nice community vibe about it. There's dogs about.
This is it's pretty nice considering you know what it's like back home right now.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's
frosty and they've got Arctic winds coming and all this stuff. So thank God I'm not there.
Exactly, there's no tennis over there for you.
No, I can't do it in the winter. It's too bad for me.
Okay, you got it all year round here at least. But that was it. I mean, coming out here for the year, yes, a lot of people really want that to stay permanently and have that visa as an opportunity. But it's still very daunting, especially at what with yourself, 21, 21, 22, 21? 21. Like it's so daunting to think, okay, I've got to make a decision. Do I want to stay out here permanently or not?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because I've got options at home. Like I was talking to, I was messaging on the way here, some of my friends from season, the one like my bosses, they're having dinner out in Lemonweir in where you were, right?
Yeah, that's Lemonweir.
They're skiing, right? And
the Pot of Nielsen.
Yeah. So they were messaging, or they were out for dinner together, and so one of them was my boss in Croatia, and the other one was my boss in Levante in Greece.
Yeah.
And I messaged just saying hi, like say hi from me, and they both said that they really want me back. So I'm like, there's always that option. I've always got the option of going back and doing that. I've got summer in England for tennis is great, but it's just the kind of winter is the part that I can't do, and you know I can do tennis all year round, and I can just.
Would you want to do tennis all year round though? Because obviously, when you're back at home, you don't have the choice. Then I always find, I don't know if you're any similar to me, but whenever I've done a job, a very specific job, where it hasn't got much variance to it, once I get to that 6 months phase, I'm like, I could do with a break from it, just so you can leave that where it is and then come back loving it again, fall back in love.
Yeah, I do get that. I mean, I've kind of had that the last year. I've done parts like months on, then take a month off, then months on.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only struggle with that is, you know, for me, and I'm sure for you, most of the money's in the private stuff that you do.
Yeah.
And if I do 6 months of privates, it's amazing. I've got loads of money. And then the moment I say, okay, I'm taking a break, then they'll go off elsewhere. And then you have to restart the whole kind of thing. And that's what I had when I went off backpacking over last winter. I gave up all of my lessons.
Yeah, go carry on.
Is this on? Yeah. I gave up all of my lessons to then come back and come back 6 months later, and you got to restart, and you only get like a handful of people that come back So everyone else has just either gone off and
I mean, that's exactly the same with personal training as it is with coaching. I mean, it's a long-term thing more than anything, so you can track their developments.
Yeah, exactly.
And that relationship's something that's got to be there and continuous. As soon as that kind of drops off, or even if you take over Christmas time for myself, people who go away for 2 or 3 weeks and they come back and the ideas have changed, and it's like they feel that setback, and it's sometimes they just drop off completely.
Yeah.
Sometimes they double down.
And it's also annoying because then it's a whole restart of what they're doing. Like, you know, say I've got some kid that I've been coaching for ages. Because I leave, they take 2 months off of playing.
Yeah.
Then
or they go
when
to
you
a
come back,
different coach, like someone like Matt.
Yeah. yeah. Oh God, don't even talk about him. Or if he listens to this. But like, you know, they take that time off and then it's just a restart of their tennis because it's just effort. But
yeah.
But
even then, they're like, as opposed to not just tennis, because obviously tennis is what you're really good at and what you're really good at coaching, and people see that, other tennis companies see that. But tennis isn't just what you're about entirely. The same with me with personal training. I love personal training. I've loved other stuff before, and I worked with children loads in Greece and seasons. But travel's a big part of what I want to do. Whatever I do, I want to have that travel element to it, and I hate it, especially at such young ages. Like early 20s for you, mid 20s for me. It's a lot of time. Where as long as I can maintain a level of sort of being in that arena for tennis or within the thing that you love, but still being able to travel and do those things, tick those boxes.
It's that kind of Venn diagram of travel and passion. Right,
yeah, me and you are both very lucky with the things that we both love to do. There's opportunities for in most places we want to go.
Yeah, but I think that's something that we've both got out and got, right? Like, I mean, what my mum's always said is, she wanted me to go to uni and do all this stuff. My brothers all went to uni, but I chose to pursue tennis for whatever reason I did, and
it served you well so far.
The opportunities it's given me, right? I've been around the world. Oh, that's good. I got it now.
That's the
delayed reaction. Oh, so bad. But like, I've been able to go around and do so much, and there's always possibilities everywhere. Like, it hasn't been hard to find a job here. And like, you know, say I only do 6 months at this company, I can then go off and do 6 months somewhere else. It's not very hard. The world is begging for tennis coaches.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, is that just kind of more?
It's just not
privileged areas, or
just everywhere needs it. Like, I mean, my club at home, they've got 3 full-time, and that's not enough. But like, that's really not enough.
See, like, I've come over here, personal trainers is a dime a dozen everywhere, and even out over here, even more so, because there's a massive sort of fitness boom around.
Everyone is running or doing some sort of sport.
Anywhere around the coast here, you come across 10, 20 runners every hour of the day, morning straight through till night, and someone's doing something. But then again, in an area where it's not even say it's more than just being acceptable. It's almost mandatory at times. You're going to be topless.
Yeah, that's the fun part of it, right? Literally, that's what I've been doing the past sort of 2 weeks. Is go do a 5K in the morning, and then you just jump in the sea, and it's so nice. And that's just your morning, kind of down. And you know, what I have found here is, and I know you get up really early, actually, don't you? You're on the beach always doing
my
stuff, right? And I think for here, because it's just always sunny and warm, if it's 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m., it doesn't feel like an early morning to me.
No, it doesn't.
As opposed to at home, it's dark and it's freezing. You don't want to get out of bed, right? But you come out and you've started your day and you've done everything that you'd want to do to start your day by 10:30, and then you go off and do the rest.
100%. It makes perfect sense out here as well. Like exactly what you say, where if it's cold and miserable at home, it's a dark morning, it's crisp, it's horrible conditions, the world's asleep, and everyone's been miserable there. It takes that time to kind of ease into the day. Over here, you're very happy to go bed early.
I actually am. I'm shattered by 10. It's ridiculous.
I'm in bed at 9 o'clock.
It's ridiculous.
And I want to get up early because if I start work, say at 7 or 8, I can be up at 5. I can get my stuff done on the beach. I can do a little work on the laptop, computers, notes, whatever it might be. Do some programs, and then I'm there at work. I finish maybe at 5 o'clock,
and then you've got the evening to do.
It's such a different way of life, and it kind of spread everywhere with everybody else as well. And you can tell that's kind of the environment.
But everyone is up, but before 8, everyone's out and doing something before 8.
So one thing I heard is a tradition out here, which I've seen a few times on the beach, is on people's birthday. It's tradition for everyone to get up really early and go jump in the sea together with all your friends.
My birthday's coming up in April. I don't know if you're going to be in Sydney. Are you going to be in Sydney?
Yeah, I should be actually. Yeah, I should still be in Sydney. I'll be in Sydney by April.
That's the one.
But it was it's a tradition some people still stick to. And I just thought, as soon as I heard that, imagine being in the UK and if you were down in Brighton or something.
They try to convince everyone to go out. Yeah. No,
And it's not even a question over here. They'll just do it, no issue. But I want everyone to get up at the crack of dawn, come down to Brighton Pier and jump in with me.
That's the last thing I would possibly do in England.
But yeah, I mean, compared to everything else, compare the UK to Australia all day long. But it's obviously, you come to Australia and you see that lifestyle, and it's very addictive. And a lot of people, I'd love to use Australia as a main base for operation, but then it wouldn't mean I want to stay here in particular.
Yeah, I think I do find it very different to England. I mean, obviously, everyone speaks the same language, and it's kind of similar in that and work and everything, but it's so much more relaxed, so much more active. But I don't know, it at the moment doesn't feel like a homely kind of thing, if that makes sense.
No,
you know, like it doesn't feel
so
like when
far.
I go back at the end. Yeah, so far. I'll give it some months and it will, but it doesn't feel like the UK does to me of being at home and that kind of security. But that's just a case of giving it 2 months or 3 months, and then I'll be locked into a life. But and you know what I don't like? Their drinking stuff here is just nowhere near as fun.
No, non-existent.
They literally don't. Like, I feel like they don't drink at all.
No, they don't. I mean, do you know what we were saying just about that people being early risers and up and doing things? That they take that seriously. It's like they'd rather do that than go out and drink at night. And there's no the lock-in laws. A lot of places close early.
But you think,
the nightlife, the nightclubs aren't anywhere near as good.
But you think, like, you and I, on season, it's go out as much as you possibly can and then turn up to work feeling horrible, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is ever going to turn up to work hungover in this country. Like, it's
maybe the traders. You get a few traders.
Yeah. But it's just not a thing. Like, I mean, my where I'm staying with my uncle runs the bowls club, and I'll go down and have a couple of beers there, like, every now and then. But it's not like, and because their rule is you can't serve someone if they look intoxicated.
Yeah, at all. Massive fines as well.
That's just like 14k.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like,
it's not even just properly intoxicated. It's just if you see them trip over their own feet on the way to the bar, they're not allowed to serve.
Yeah, because the police check the cameras and everything of like what was the person doing before that they fell on, and it's just like that's not a thing. Imagine like down at my local home school, the Regent. We go to the Regent, and you're 7 pints in, and there's a guy. But it's like
it's the most bizarre thing ever.
And that's the one I'm not too keen on at the moment. But
I mean, so how weird is this? Where you've got something which the whole purpose of doing is to feel a certain way, but as soon as you feel that way, you're not allowed to do it anymore.
Right? Yeah.
It's like going to a roller coaster, and it's like, you're not allowed to scream on the way down. You can go. You can get on the ride,
on the way up,
as soon as you get to the fun part, you've got to be deadly silent. It's effectively what they've done.
On the camera, on the photo.
Yeah, just deadpan hating it.
But I do find that a bit strange. But I don't mind. The beer's nice though. I won't lie.
What have you been drinking? VV. Yeah.
VB. Victoria Bitter is really nice.
Yeah.
But they do schooners, and like schooners are that. I mean, for those that don't know, schooner is like a smaller pint.
Is that 2/3 or basically?
Yeah. To stop Australians drinking as much. It's not as though they.
Yeah, it's like okay. So do they have to ask you if you want what size?
No, when you order, they'll automatically assume you're having a schooner.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I'll just go and ask for it, and they'll start. They'll get the glass. I was like, no, a pint. Please.
Yeah, you have to ask for a pint. I mean, where I am, and it's like $6 for a schooner.
That's good.
But then it's like 11 for a pint. And I'm like, what is that?
How does that even work?
I think it's a happy hour deal or something. But
maybe. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you go though. Because like just up the road here, this place, we'll have to go for a pint later, maybe. Yes. But I mean, some places are really good, some places are really bad. I mean, they love the ales out here.
I haven't had many.
I'm not a massive ale drinker.
Oh no, I don't know.
They've got a few, and the ones I've tried, they're good, but I just wouldn't normally go to them. But I mean, just the bog standard is like the Carlton, which is effectively calling.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know, but that's just like the bog standard. They have it everywhere.
They call it 4X, or what do they call it? Just the gold one, XXXX.
I'm not sure. I don't know what they call it.
That's nice. I like that. So that's apparently their like go-to kind of thing.
But even then, like me and Katie especially, we haven't really been going out drinking too much. Just, I think I told you last time.
It doesn't seem like the thing, does it?
Well, it's people enjoy the lifestyle's so good. It almost makes me think that back in the UK, because there's not too much to do other than go out and drink, you just automatically go and do it.
Yeah, I get that.
Where it's like here, people don't do it because he'd rather have these nice times here, like on the grass or on the beach, everywhere.
But I mean, what I am excited for is I give it like a month.
Festivals.
I've missed festivals. I haven't been in ages, you know.
Festivals over here.
Last one I went to was it was I got back from Croatia. Yeah, I got back from working in Croatia. Went to Truck Festival like I don't know, like 4 or 5 days after I got back. It was actually really fun. It rained the whole time, and it was like the muddiest thing you've ever seen in your life.
I went to Why Not Festival.
Yeah, I've heard Why Not. It's Oxford, isn't it?
No, it's Derbyshire.
Is it? Oh, okay.
But it was the year that it got rained off on the Sunday. Non-stop, literally up to your knees.
It's terrible, isn't it?
But it was so good still though. We were walking around. I think we went into one of the tents with Mr. Jam, and it's an amazing DJ set. And like we're inside the tent, and and we're all stumbling around back. And we woke up the next morning hungover as shit, and everyone's just like, we can hear mumbling around the campsite. They cancelled the festival because they had no precautions whatsoever. The rain was that bad, didn't stop the whole time. Everyone got half their money back, but we missed all the best acts on Sunday.
Who was meant to play?
I don't remember now. But there's a few bigger acts. It's not the biggest festival in the world, but mostly up and comers. But there's a few good ones who come on. But I remember the next day, I left half the shit there. I left the tent there because it was basically ruined anyway. All the stuff I wanted to keep, I shoved into my sleeping bag and was just dragging the sleeping bag across the mud to get back to the car. But then what would normally be a 15, 20-minute walk back to the car.
Oh, God.
It would have taken about 2-3 hours in that deep of the mud. So we ended up going to one of the guys who go around in the buggies, that they change all the portaloos, like toilet paper and stuff like that.
The driving ones or the ones that drag the things along?
The driving ones. In the actual like golf
buggy kind of.
So we ended up paying and said, I'll give you 10 quid to just take us to the car park. And he's like, 20.
He's bastard, yeah.
He was like, yeah, fine, 20 quid. And literally took him like 5 minutes, but saved me about 3 hours worth of walking.
Well, I get that because when we left Truck Festival, we had, because I was there with my family, we had the draggy trailer thing.
Yeah.
And just the amount of mud that gets stuck in the wheels and then they don't move and you have to stop every 5 minutes to move it, to unclog it. It's just effort.
Yeah, I remember coming back from that festival because after that we were sat in the car park trying to get out because everyone was getting stuck in the mud anyway, trying to leave. And took about 4 or 5 hours to get home from when we got in the car. And it only should be about an hour and a half drive. It's just all in the car park. And I got home and I think that's probably one of the only times in my life I've sat down in the shower. That cold, wet.
Sat down in the shower?
I sat down in the shower, sat there. It must have been probably about an hour and a half, non-stop.
I was like, just trying to clean yourself from all the mud.
No, there wasn't even cleaning myself. I was that cold and hungover and on the come down. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. But even out here, I've heard the festivals out here, they all have amazing acts, especially around Sydney. Everyone who's doing a world tour always goes to Sydney.
There was one in New Year's Day. There was someone big. I can't remember who was there. Rufus Du Sol, if you know him. What song does he do? In a Bloom, I think it's called. It's really good. And Central C was there. I would not want to see, no offense.
I keep hearing a load of people I work with anyway, at least, just buzzing off Central C. And
not the one.
I think he's funny. He's got some good lyrics. I wouldn't sit there listening to him throughout. But they're all like copying him, but obviously in the accents as well. And it's like, don't get it. Oh, it's not about that. But it's funny. Yeah, but always the one on New Year's. I mean, from what I've heard from people who've been to the ones around here anyway, they have the great acts and the massive venues. But again, it seems that drinking culture isn't there.
Yeah, you can't really do it because they have all the signs which just say prohibited alcohol area, and you're like, yeah, right. I mean, there's those things where people go there like weeks before and dig holes and bury stuff, and it's just like, how could it take that much? It's that much effort just to be able to have a drink in a place is a bit much.
100%.
And like with the New Year's celebrations, actually I need to ask you what you did for New Year's. What did you do for New Year's? What did you end up doing?
So we were in the city for a bit, and then it was just me and Katie. We had some friends up there anyway as well. So we went for a few drinks because we got there quite early in the day, and then we were going to go down towards the Opera House and the gardens.
Rammed, there was
so busy. They actually shut the roads off because we missed the cut-off to get through. So
Did
we
you
ended up,
drive down or did you?
no,
get
we got the bus down. But then before they closed the bus there, so we ended up getting the bus back to Cremorne, which is on this side. Yeah. So we got we probably could have seen the boat that you were on.
Literally, we were the front boat. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because I was down in the city earlier in the day, just kind of walking around, and because that was like, it's literally my second or third day of being in the country. It was my second day of being in the country, right?
Yeah, and it's just, you find yourself in some amazing places, you do.
I don't know how I managed that, but it was like, I'm just sat there, and then my friend, who I had seen the day before, I went for a drink with her. She just messaged me saying like, I'm going to be on a boat for the years. So come on, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I end up meeting her later, and we buy some drinks to go take on the boat. Everyone else that's at the Opera House and at the Botanical Gardens, they're not allowed to bring drinks. And I'm sure they have managed to.
Yeah,
there's people that have been there 6 a.m., 5 a.m. queuing.
Yeah.
I went and got on this boat at 5:30 in the afternoon, get steaming on this boat with 3 Germans, a Canadian, a El Salvadorian, an Aussie guy, me and my friend, and a Polish guy. And it's like, that's a lot of what I like about kind of meeting people from all around the world, is that these chances that come up and opportunities that come up. Like,
it is by far.
How did I manage to get it? Because that view is worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars.
So obviously Charlotte,
yeah,
and her fella Angus, when they were saving up at home, they bought the river cruise for the evening for New Year's.
Don't tell me how much. $500? More? You can't tell me it's more.
So obviously it was a free bar as well, open bar all night.
But it's not. I'm not going to drink $600. How much was it?
Open bar all night, and they got a nice meal with it. And I think it was from like 9 until 1, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they bought it in the UK. Well, when they were in the UK
pounds,
beforehand, as like something to look forward to. Okay, so they paid. I think I'm getting this right, but I think it was £450
each.
Pound each.
That's $1.8K.
Yeah,
or nearly $2K. Oh my god! But you know how much I spent? I spent $20 on $20 on beer.
When you said that, I was.
Oh my god!
When you said that, I had a massive debate with myself of whether to ask you, like, can I come?
I was thinking about, at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I can. If I try and weasel two more onto this bit, I might.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask because obviously I've never met them, and it's not the right place for it.
To be fair, the guy was
really
I was calm. I think you'd have been fine with it. I think you've actually worked with him. He was so nice.
He would have been, but even then, you know what it's like.
But it was like, I spent $20 on beer, and then like my friend bought like a goon bag, and
were you jumping in or not?
We did.
Yes.
So we did it like just after midnight, but like after all the fireworks were like 15 minutes, weren't they? It was really good.
It was so okay. So you've seen the ones in London, haven't you?
I haven't been to them, but I've seen them.
Yeah, so they're good. So I was expecting like fireworks plays I've normally seen. Yeah, they can do it to the music or whatever, but like they're a bit like, okay, it's fireworks. But that was the first time, especially from the view that we had, because you were obviously right up there next to it. The view that we had, we could see the panoramic view of the bridge, Opera House, all the skyscrapers, and even
I didn't realize they were going to move off the skyscrapers. That was pretty cool.
And then there was some even further down behind where you would have seen as well,
because there was like 8 barges on the water as well.
Yeah. So I was watching that. I'm watching them all go off synchronized, and I was like, oh my god,
it's a lot.
Oh my god,
it's a lot.
Oh my god.
It's because it was like the summing anniversary of the Opera House as well, so they kind of did their own stuff.
Oh, is it? I didn't have a clue.
But yeah, so after New Year's event, me, my friend, and this German girl jumped in, and we're just in there for like 10 minutes, and then we convinced another couple of guys from another boat to jump in, get out, and then I only find out the next day. I'm just going on TikTok, and it's like all this stuff about the city fireworks, and it's like and then it's someone in like an inflatable kayak, and then they're like, we got the best view of the thing, and then I look at the comments, and it's like they're like, why did you go in there? There's bull sharks in that harbour, and they were like, at one point, like there's like 84 tagged bull sharks that can be in that harbour at once, and then I say to my uncle, my auntie, I'm like, they were like, oh, did you jump in? I went, yeah, and they went, oh, I would have never done that. And like,
yeah, but come on,
because I know, but it's like, it's quite funny because like some diver got absolutely destroyed apparently like a couple of years ago, but it's quite
Yeah, it's one of those things you're glad you found out after you did it.
Yeah.
Because now you don't regret it, but you wouldn't do it again.
No, I don't know if I'm going to be going in there again, but it was really fun.
Can you just pop that just on the other side?
The other side.
So you're turning to face me.
Oh my
So
God.
I just realised you turned to face me a bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm at the other side.
A little bit of mid-game.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Half-time
We're
switch.
low res over here.
Half-time switch.
That'll do. Yeah, that's
Well, I hope
cool,
Dave can hear everything I've said this far.
yeah, it doesn't matter. The conversation's there. I'm sure you could hear bits of it.
Okay, what?
Yeah, that's so cool though. I mean, we wanted to do something like that. Obviously, we weren't going to pay to go on a boat. It's just when they told us how much, I was like, ridiculous. And I was speaking to Angus, Charlotte's fella, and he was the same thinking. After it was like, rip off. He said it was amazing. It was really good, but considering where they thought they were going to be financially in van life before they came out to where they actually are because of things going wrong, they were like, that money could have
really helped
so much more.
And I mean, 450 quid is for 12 minutes of fireworks. It's quite a.
You get the meal, you get them
price.
to drink.
I know,
they were battered, having a good time. I think I would have definitely enjoyed it more of a mates on their own kind of boat thing as opposed to a organised, like, private.
Oh, definitely. That would have been good.
Yeah, that was sweet though. I mean, one day, there's plenty of New Year's. I think I'm trying to make it a thing now, every New Year in a different country.
That would be cool. Where were you last year?
Le Mans in France. So what they had over there, as well as the fireworks, it was so cool. So they had, it was like a little festival thing. They brought out an actual stage with live music and events, dancers, lights.
They did it this year, didn't they?
They do it every year.
Yeah, I think I saw.
But then on the slopes, they have like the skiers who come down with the torches. And last year they had it said so they all lined up with 2023, and on the countdown it changed it to 2024, and then you watch all of them come down the slope. With the holding.
So it's a bunch of guys holding torches.
They do it every week. Like, it's honestly,
cool.
It sounds a bit weird, but it's so cool.
I feel like I have to see it to know. Like, because at the moment I'm thinking that's a bit strange. It's like a bunch of people just stood here with.
We all looking up at the mountains, and you can see them like further away. It's almost like a drone show, but with skiers, kind of thing. Yeah. Once it will go. Well, obviously, we saw it every week, but they did it for the New Year's, which is a special one.
But we did it every week.
Display. Yeah, just because it's a holiday resort, isn't it? There's new people there every week. So there's like loads of things to do for the kids, for the families. A lot of them repeat every other week, kind of thing. Sometimes it's just seasonal, but there's a few different things. But I've waited. It was still cool. It was cool to have, and then the absolute party was amazing as well.
I know, that's what I kind of missed.
That was great.
Like,
Sweet.
My last year's was in Mr. Mallett's hostel in Guatemala, and it was, my God, it was nuts.
Yes. Tell me, I wanted to ask you for so long. We've obviously spoken last week, and well, whenever you got here.
We withheld some information.
Because I really wanted to hear all about South America. It's so high up on my list. So do the whole of. Where did you start?
Where did I start? So
how did it go? How did it? I know how it came about.
So it came about. I got back from Greece, and I was like, I'm not gonna deal with being here. I think it's just a big shock going from having the time of my life in Rhodes last year to kind of being at home, and
it's a massive. Not fall from grace is the wrong term,
but you know, you come and you're with all your like best mates you just spent every day with for the past, and then suddenly it's bang, all gone.
At the age that we were as well, it is like 100% recommend that to absolutely anybody who's got
without
the chance to do a season. I'd say the exact same for winter as well.
That was always my plan, was to do winters, but I never ended up being able to get on because of Brexit and Corona. It just kind of ruined that whole, which is why I then ended up going and doing summer, and I don't regret it at all.
I mean, I did my summer. How old was I? Was I 23? 22?
23, I think.
23. I was in my summer, and you were.
I just turned 20.
Just turned 20.
Had I? Yeah.
Had I? But then, like, it's still like never too late for it, and I'd 100% do it because you'll have an absolute passion for skiing or snowboarding,
and you get really good at it as well.
You get really good at it. You meet loads of friends who will, for the rest of your life, if you say to them, "I want to go on a ski trip," they'll be like, "Yes, keen, down, 100%."
But it's like, you know, Steph's just booked a ski trip with Mark Warner.
With Mark Warner?
With Mark Warner, yeah. Her parents just did. They went back to Kamari at the end of this year. Yeah, I mean, I went and visited Kamari again.
I saw.
But Helen was trying to book she was thinking about booking one with her friends, and she messaged like me and Elena and Steph. Was like, "Do you want to go and do a summer next year?" And like, I'd think about it, but I wouldn't do Mark Warner.
No, not one. Well, I mean, whilst you're out in Australia ways anyway,
yeah,
this, I
definitely
already
that.
mentioned before, but not this season, but next winter, me and Katie want to be in Japan for it.
Yeah, that'd be
So
crazy good.
100% head on over, at least for a holiday.
Well, I think the only thing with,
Because we'll have a place as
I
well.
swear the thing with Japan is you can't work there if you've been working in a different country that's not your own.
What?
Like, I seem to remember, either I looked up or my older brother told me, because he was trying to do one. It's like, if you want to work in Japan, you can't do it if in the past year you've lived or worked in a country that's not where you were born.
Really?
Something along those lines. I might be completely wrong with that, but I seem to remember that being the case.
Well,
but you'd have to look into it.
What I'm hoping to be the case is that because you can get certain types of visas where if you are earning money from another country whilst you are there, most places just say you can have an unlimited visa because effectively you're spending money from another country.
Yeah, it's not just generally. Okay, so it's just money.
It's like you're on holiday visa. But then you're still allowed to work with those visas as long as you're bringing in some income.
Okay, I get that.
So if I can somehow find a way with personal training at least, or blag my way and
you can do that online.
Send myself some money from an overseas account.
I'm always here.
You're over here.
Always here. I'll get the haircut like you, and I'll go to the bank.
Back and forth. And then, I've got one PC client. He pays.
I'm the same size as you, right? Oh, no?
No, you've grown. I swear.
No, I haven't. Well, yeah, my muscles have. Not mine.
Okay, so I've got pictures to prove from when we were in Greece, we were relatively the same height. You were a little bit taller.
How tall are you?
6'2".
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because I always say I'm 6'2", but everyone says I'm 6'3". Because I think 6'2" sounds better than 6'3", if I'm being honest.
Sounds better. Okay,
yeah.
So the thing is, when you're above that 6'2" mark,
it doesn't
matter. You'll round it down, if anything, because it doesn't make a difference. Some people who are under 6 foot who are like, I'm 5'11".
Exactly, yeah.
But no, so I'm 6'2", 6'3" in any pair of shoes.
In shoes, yeah?
Just that little bit. So I'm like, I'm not going to say
We'll compare later.
But when I first saw you when we were over here, I was like, shit, what the fuck? You're taller than me now.
I kind of forget that I'm tall, you know? Like,
you do. Do you not think people out here, though, are generally taller? Australians?
Yeah. There's quite a few tall guys. You know what I've always found funny? I say this to a lot of people, is you take, like, the fence over there, right? Whenever you're walking down the street, when I'm with, like, friends or, say, with my mum, whatever, they can never look. They never know what's over that fence. They live a life without being able to. Yeah, like I can see what's going on in that garden. I know what it looks like. But they have no idea.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine living in. And you know what else is I find really annoying? It's like you're in the kitchen trying to butter some bread. I've got to bend down to do it.
Yeah.
Come on, that's not fair.
When the tables, chairs, and desks are too low.
Yeah, not the size for me. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like not necessarily sitting, but when you've got like to do some work on like standing up at a table and you're literally there hunched over to write your name down or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah. Rather than just.
But on the benefit, I always get that feeling of when you're at a gig or a festival, whatever it might be, and then I just get a brief moment of thought, and I'm like, oh, there's so many people trying to like lean around people's heads.
But then I do then feel bad because like say when I go with my brothers, my oldest brother's 6'3", I'm 6'2", 6'3", then the next one's 6'1", and the other one's like just under 6 or 6. When we're all together, you cannot possibly see around us, and like everyone just asks. They always ask to come stand in front of you, and you're like, yeah, because I feel bad about it. But
before you know it, you're right at the back.
Yeah, right. But it is. I mean, we don't really mind.
People go to those things at that height and know full well that that's going to be the case. They know like they're there to hear it, they're there for the atmosphere.
It must be so tough though, you know, like because I went to Reading 2018, 2019, like both years, and like the amount of like the girls that we were with that like had to just come out of the crowd because they were getting like suffocated because I don't remember, it was boiling like that year. It was so hot. It was like 28 degrees and just sun, no clouds, whatever, and all the girls are like either passing out or having because you don't realize, like being tall, we don't realize that there's like no air or it's boiling.
Yeah, you're right. I've not actually thought
like
about
it's so tough for them, and like we're just running around and crashing into people while they literally cannot breathe or anything.
Yeah, so I've actually thought about that.
It's tougher. Like
it is tough. There's pros and cons to all of it. I suppose being tall is a massive pro for tennis.
Yeah, depends what height they. You feel like 6'10", it's kind of tough.
Yeah, obviously.
But
it's a little bit too
tall.
the
average height is like 6'3", I think.
Yeah, isn't that like as we see most tennis players, like professional anyway, around your height, your build as well.
Yeah, skinny and tall.
Yeah. Can you do that like
Really?
the Djokovic slide thing, where like you slide your leg, the splits kind of?
No, I can't do the
Yeah,
splits,
bend
man.
his knees basically bend
No, that
sideways.
guy's
It's like an
ridiculous.
extra joint.
He's ridiculous. No, I can't do the splits. I mean, look, this is me trying to touch my toes. Oh, it's better than normal, actually. My legs look a bit better. You know, you're not. You should know this, right? You tell me if I'm completely wrong. You're not meant to. When you stretch, you're not meant to be like fully straight with your legs because you can just snap a hamstring or something.
Yeah, if you're really inflexible.
No,
you're not supposed to just kind
because
of.
you're not warmed up at all, so your legs you can just snap a hamstring.
So
Like
that's severely unlikely.
No, we've now stood up and we're trying to do some stretches.
Yeah.
Gosh,
So if I'm there like legs straight, you can go down.
oh my
and
god!
get underneath your toes.
No, I can't do that. But like that's gonna snap my hamstring. Oh,
Yeah, I think because they're tight.
yeah. Oh, I suppose maybe you're right, but you know, like when people do this thing, where they're like on the floor and you've got to like press your whole body into your.
Yeah.
Like Elena used to do the fitness, the stretch, the flow classes at the end of the day, and me and Becky used to run down every day
just to joke around.
Well, no, we love doing them. It's also because then Elena
You're really relaxing as well.
Yeah,
They're actually really.
Apart from, there'd be an occasional one where she used to do it on the beach, right? And there'd be an occasional day where it was super windy, and you'd be lying on your back, and you'd be facing that way, and then she'd go, okay, now turn the other way, and just bang, almost everyone goes in your face. Oh. And then I used to just try and make her laugh from behind, and it was so funny.
It's ruining it, sabotage.
But she used to come over to the tennis centre and take naps, like between classes, or hide from guests. Because me, Elena, and Rebecca were always together, and so she would just hide with us. But she used to nap with her sunglasses on, and she'd be sat there like this, and like guests would come up and ask her a question because she was sat at like my desk, and they'd ask a question, and then like me and Becca would just look at her and then answer for her. But it seems so rude. But bless her, she was so she used to do like 8 classes a day of like 30 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought when it came to personal training as well. One of my main things was like, okay, I can do it anywhere in the world. There's season work as well.
Yeah,
do stuff like that. I don't know how it'd go and how it'd work. The winters were a lot better than the summers in terms of the workload, but
yeah, I can imagine.
I don't
know. Why didn't you do any stuff in Greece?
I wasn't qualified then.
You weren't.
I got qualified more recently.
Well, Adam did. Adam did aqua. Aqua, did you hear about this? Yeah, so he did like 3 minutes of it, and then he ran out of things to do, so he finished the class early. Aqua's meant to be half an hour. He did 3 minutes and then dipped.
Most of those classes are full of the older indies, like the 16, 17-year-olds.
Yeah, they are. They used to get. So I used to join them in Croatia sometimes because at Nielsen you don't have to do anywhere near as much work because they kind of understand that the heat is a massive thing and the sun is a thing. So they kind of respect that you need some time out of the sun. Right? Not like what I did. And so like some days I would work like 2 hours in the morning. That'd be it. Right? Not like it's guaranteed 4 hours straight. I would do like Nielsen. I do 1 hour at like 8:30, have an hour off, and I go back up.
Look, I did childcare, man. I was doing.
You had rough.
You
were really rough.
I got breakfast.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like I would then finish for lunch at like 11:30, and Aqua would start at 11:30. So I'd go down, and like all the guests that had just done tennis would go into the pool, and then I'd rock up and I'd start running Aqua with like the fitness coach Rosie and like the lifeguards and stuff. And then you'd all just jump into the water at the end of it. And it was really, really nice. Really fun.
Have you ever seen like a proper Aqua class? Not just the ones where the people have never done it beforehand.
Like the coaches?
Yeah, the ones who actually do it like professionally.
Like the Peloton kind of, like...
So obviously I work at the Virgin Active.
Yeah.
Where they do Aqua classes there every day. And watching them compared to the stuff that I've seen like people do at the Mark Warners. Because obviously Elena's a great coach, but she's never done Aqua classes before. She knows. And then they actually are... They don't look that easy.
Some of the stuff, yeah, because we had...
It's intense moving and it's at speed.
We had at Levante, we had... the fitness team were all Swedish. Like our hotel was half Nielsen. And they, I don't know what you're doing, baby. And yeah, their stuff's kind of intense, and but it's quite funny because it's just all Swedish people doing it. There's no Brits doing it. They just couldn't be bothered for it.
It's not very.
They're all like,
is it?
"Come on, let's go!" It's just rather than Adam going, "Oh, I don't know what to do now."
Because Adam running around doing Aqua, I'm imagining in my head sort of like Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow doing those kind of
because it's hard, you've got to do a different thing every like 15 seconds.
It's a full dancing for 30 minutes.
It is, yeah. But Adam, do you remember when they had like when we had all the thunderstorms and was one day we had thunderstorms and stuff, and the beach was shut for like 4 hours or something.
I mean, that was before I got there.
It can't have been. I just remember sitting on the balcony with Jilly, Abby, and Elena.
Wait, yeah, I was there. Tell a lie.
It was like the one day, but it didn't even rain by us really. Like it was just more inland.
Coming over.
Yeah. But I just remember Adam's job was to be on lightning watch. And he just has to sit there on like a plastic chair, staring up at the hotel for however long. And every time he sees lightning, he has to go, yep, and shout to someone. And then they say, all right, and then they restart the timer of 45 minutes for the beach to stay shut. But he just sat there for a good couple of hours, just waiting for lightning to happen. Like, that's your job right now, Adam, is to sit there and look for lightning. It's so funny.
That's cool. He'd love that job.
I remember when we had the first big rainy day, the court's flooded, and so Becca and I, we just went into the canteen and made like ourselves a cup of tea and something, and then we were just messing about, and we took our cups of tea and plates, like saucers, down, and we walked down through the hotel and like we go to the beach, and we're like, does anyone want a cup of tea and all this stuff? And then I just remember Ali there, and Maisie saw me. Maisie came up to me. She was like, whatever you do not go over there. He's so angry right now. And me and Becca just stood there like this with our cup of tea and stuff, because everyone's meant to be working, but we can't really do anything. Obviously, we're just bunking off, but it was just so funny. Like the stuff we used to do in the times off.
Oh, I had some funny moments. So when I went back in October, the first day I got there was massive storms. They had all the storm warnings. And that evening, there's again massive storms, and we had to all rush down. So we're all there having a beer. We're sitting there having a beer in the hotel reception. We're sitting there drinking, and then like, the storm's coming in, and then it's blowing all of the umbrellas, salopettes, what are they called? Parasols. That's
how they. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they created shade for the hotel. To be honest.
No, but all the parasols were like blowing everywhere, so we had to literally come over and move them all back, and it was ridiculous. It was crazy.
So I had one day, Becca was running social tennis. She had like a stupid amount of people. It was early on in the season. We had 2 courts for social and 1 court for me doing some kids tennis. So I had 4 kids on mine, like literally 5-year-olds, like really young. And Becca had, I don't know, like 20 people for social tennis. Bear in mind, only 8 people can play at once in social tennis because we only had 2 courts. So you got 4 and 4. Yeah. So she had 12 people waiting off. Poor Becca, it's like the 3rd week or 2nd week. Becca was kind of new to the whole sort of thing. And I'm off doing kids tennis on 1 court, and so we haven't got space. The guests are all absolutely livid because they're like hardly able to play because there's just not enough court space. Not our fault, right?
Exactly. What can they say there?
And then it's a really windy day, and there was this guest called Karen, who was absolutely horrible, of course, as you can imagine. She was absolutely horrible, and her husband was sat there like kind of just watching, and one of the parasols fell over because it wasn't weighed down or anything. It was like, had proper concrete block at the bottom and stuff. They ended up bolting them in because they kept falling, but this thing fell down and it hit him on the back of the head, like straight down his back. And then, it hit him on the front, like on the top of his head, and then scraped down here. And then Karen, and I see it, and I'm like, I can't do anything. I'll leave it. I'm just going to keep going. I was like, I can't be bothered with this. And I see Karen storming onto the court, like that, just storming on. And she goes, and I go, yeah? She goes, that parasol just fell on my husband and hit him in the head and his back. And I went, no, it didn't. And I went, I just watched it. She went, yeah, it's really hurt his back. It didn't hit him in his back, it hit him in the front. What are you talking about? I didn't say that to her, but I was like, yeah. But it's like she just completely lied to me about what had happened. And then she went off, and I was like, I'm really sorry, there's not really anything I can do right now. And she went, I'm going to go talk to your manager then. What's she saying? She said, I'm going to leave you a really bad review. I was like, that's so nice of you, Karen. Thank you. It's not like I was in control of the wind and smacking this guy. Please do. But
Ashley, you're a star.
She ended up leaving a good review because we busted her up for the next week. We basically made her win the tournament because we put her with the best player in the tournament, and he just carried her. And she left a nice review at the end. It's kind of funny. Oh, anyway, we got very sidetracked there. We were talking about...
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so, to bring it back round then, comparing obviously, we always spoke loads about Dresby and how amazing it was. The season being how amazing it was. From there, we saw each other...
We saw each other in Woking.
That's Nando's.
Yeah, man.
I think that might have even been the last Nando's I've had.
When was that? Was that September, October? September, because I left in October.
Yeah, because you were saying you were just about to leave.
Yeah.
And then, so there was no plan. It was just like
no, I booked a one-way to Peru. Like, it was my first
Was that
travel.
to the capital?
No, so I flew into the capital, and then I got a domestic flight to a place called Trujillo in the north.
So how did you find out this place?
I just looked up. So because I was really wanting to surf and to get proper into surfing. And so I looked up a couple of things, and I found this cool surf camp and hostel place, and it was quite cheap. And I was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. Because everything else I looked at was like for 1 week, it's like 1.5 grand for like accommodation and
I feel like
and
whenever
like
you search,
lessons.
I don't know if you had found the same as me. Whenever you search for somewhere abroad, it sounds very nice and touristy. It's going to be 5 or 6 times more expensive than any of the local spots.
But this place I went was honestly probably my favorite place I've ever been to, or one of them. And it was this tiny little town in the north called Juan Chaco, and so you fly into the city of Trujillo. The city's tiny. It's like literally 100,000 people or something. It's not really like a big
more
city.
of a town than the city.
Kind of, yeah. And then like I had a taxi guy pick me up, but the airport is like one room, nothing but one room. Like you've got your baggage check here, and then there's the people coming onto that like seaplane kind of thing next to you, like immigration. And I just remember I'm the only like white person on that plane. They're not talking in English. It's just all in Spanish and stuff. And I didn't speak any Spanish at this point. Anyway, get off, and then there's a guy waiting for me, luckily, with like my name. Takes me down to the thing, and I'm like, it's the most desolate, like just sand and like kind of deserty kind of place, and like broken buildings and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done?
Do you not find a kind of mystique about those kind of places?
But like, I think when you first get there, you like I was like, you just think, oh God, this is gonna be horrible. And then
I suppose yours a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
yeah, right. And I'm like, oh my God, like how am I even gonna manage to get back? And then got to the hostel, and the hostel it's strange. It's not like most hostels. It was private rooms only, apart from one room where it was a bunk, like literally two people in a room. It's like 7, 8 private rooms. There's one English-speaking guy there, or one Brit there, who I met briefly on the first day. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure. You know, you're always learning when you first go out somewhere, and then
that's where the expectations meet reality.
Yeah, right. And then the worst thing was my phone just decided to stop charging, like fully. So I'm a 20-year-old boy that's just moved all the way to the other side of the world, and I'm in this town where there's like it's just so strange. Like you can't picture looking at this, you just can't picture what it would be like. Right?
It's like you step back in time.
Yeah, it's really weird.
30, 40 years.
It's really weird, but so my phone stops like charging, and they don't really speak any English there, and I'm like, oh, I'm done for. Aren't I remember messaging.
This is it.
Messaging.
Did you write your will?
Oh well, I remember messaging Maisie at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna try and message you, but my phone's gonna run out. I don't know what to do. Anyway, the guy that ran the surf school and the hostel, he ended up coming to meet me because I told my phone wasn't working, and he took me to this random little shop. It's like just this shack, and this guy was like, "Yeah, I can fix it," and I was like, "Okay, well, how much is it?" He didn't speak any English, but they was translating for me.
Yeah,
and he was like, came to like 30 quid. I was like, "Yo, I don't care, just fix my phone." And
he probably thought he was ripping you off there.
Yeah, probably. It was actually decent. But then the guy, the guy that was translating for me, my hostel guy, he then said, he was like, okay, he says, come back tomorrow at 9 p.m. And I'm like, so what shop works at 9 p.m. anyway? Like, so then I'm like, okay, so I then go home. I don't have my phone for the rest of the day. I end up meeting like some more people from this hostel, because there's only like 7 people in the hostel, or even less at the time. Go to the market and try and speak Spanish to them and say like, can I have a half kilogram of potatoes, like kilo media de papas and all this stuff. And then yeah. That's all I remember. And then anyway, so I come back, and then the guy, I go, and then the next day I go at 9 p.m. Shop's shut. Dude's not there. No. I'm like, this guy's robbed me, hasn't he? I'm like, this is great, and I can't message my family. I can't message anybody. I can't tell anyone what's going on. And so I just go back to the hostel, and I'm like, I'm done, aren't I? And then end up getting like really drunk with some of the guys there and had a good time. And then the next day I go at like midday, and he's luckily he's there and he's got my phone. So I was like, thank God.
Fixed.
But yeah, that was a big shock, like going in and just not having any way of contacting anyone.
Yeah, I do feel like though a lot of the even with a lot of travel that I've done, not much compared to yourself, obviously in those kind of areas, but you go into it with that anticipation that things are going to be a bit risky, a bit scary. You don't know what to expect, and like you're kind of on edge a little bit straight away.
Yeah.
Then as soon as you kind of open up and relax, you realise everyone's actually really nice.
It's
Most
so
people,
easy to meet people and make friends there. It's crazy.
the majority of people, especially whilst travelling, they always want to help you. They want to be like get you on your way. They're not necessarily going to be the best friends in the world. You're not going to stick with them necessarily, but they're always very helpful.
But it's even like you spend literally 2 hours with someone. I remember when I was going from an island called Isla Holbox in Mexico to I was going to Playa del Carmen.
So just got to say quickly, I'm very impressed by your ability to remember all these places.
Oh, I remember literally
find the details, especially in a different language. That's great.
So, oh no, it wasn't. Yeah, so I went from Isla Holbox to Playa del Carmen because England were playing in the Euros, and I was like, and Isla Holbox is one of the like it's an amazing place. It's got the bluest water. I mean, that over there is pretty blue, but that place is ridiculous. And like every traveller I met, they said that it's one of their favourite places they went to. So, but they didn't have nowhere was playing the football. Like I asked so many bars
in South America.
This was in Central, so in Mexico.
Central America, sorry.
But it was because it was an island, and they had to get a ferry over and stuff. It was designed for tourists, but there was nowhere playing the football. I asked absolutely everywhere. Hardly any of the bars had TVs or anything, because they're just beach bars and like kind of tiki huts. So I was like, okay, where's gonna have one? I saw Playa del Carmen. It's kind of like an American touristy spot. I was like, I have to watch the first game of the Euros. It was England versus Saudi Arabia. No, not Saudi Arabia. Iran or something. I think it was Iran. We ended up winning 6-1 or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, I've got to go and watch this. So I end up taking this bus. But you know, I get on the bus and sat next to me. I start talking to this girl who sat next to me. She's this young French girl, like 19, and turns out that she was in the bunk above me at my hostel for the past like 3 days. And we hadn't met, we hadn't talked, but yeah, she was the one above me, and we ended up talking for like the 2 hours until she gets off like a couple places before me. And like we still occasionally message like today, but I've literally only met her in person for 2 hours on a bus, and that's it. And but she then told me about a bunch of the places she went later on and all this stuff. But it's so cool, you know, like how quick you can connect with someone, and how
I do firmly believe that mutual adventure is one of those strong bonding factors of people.
Yeah, and
not so much like you could be here, you could meet someone in your local town, you have a really, really good connection. So as you do, you go on a night out, you go to the bar and you speak to somebody, and then you can have a great connection with them. It's amazing. Or I met a guy on the bus on the way back from Central Sydney, from the CBD the other week, and we just sat there and I almost missed my stop. We were just chatting loads in detail about loads of things. But there's something about when you're in a new, foreign, completely different, random place, and it's like a sensory overload because you're always not scared, but you've got on heightened alert for everything. When you start chatting to somebody, then those bonds they come.
But I think what you said, like the mutual adventure, like if you do something like that with somebody, you just click with them kind of straight away. Like I did. I mean, one of the best. Oh, even like this, right? So, I went from a place called Bacalar in Mexico to Key Cork, which is an island in Belize, and it's what a place! It's just party. You snorkel during the day and then you party every night in the same mark, and it's so fun. But like, I had to leave Bacalar at 5 a.m. to catch this bus, and you walk to the main road, get there, and then there are these two girls get on the bus like literally the moment it's leaving. You go down like they're further down the bus, and then we'll get off at a place called Chetumal and then get the ferry over to Belize. And I just like go up to them. I go, "Are you getting the ferry to Key Corca?" The ferry's an hour walk away from like where we get dropped off. And they're like, "Yeah," they're Spanish. Girls called Claudia and Maria, and they go, "Yeah." So we're trying to get a taxi together, and then they're like, "Yeah, okay." And they speak Spanish, so they do all the stuff for us. And then we end up like we're stuck on this ferry. There's like 80 people on this ferry that fits about 20. The boat is like that, like a 45-degree angle up. And we're just talking the whole time, and we get on so well. And they're going to a place called San Pedro, which is an island before my one. And then, because we get on so well, they end up saying, "Oh, we're going to come like meet you in Kikorka. We're going to just book to go there." They come, and then we go like a half-day snorkeling together. We go out, have just the best time. Still message them. I was meant to go to Barcelona this summer to go see them, but ended up not. But it's a story actually. I think you're quite like, okay, here we go. So sorry in advance to anyone who listens to this. It's not that bad. But so there's 3 Spanish girls, Claudia, Maria, and another guy. I can't remember her name. But those 3 are friends. And I meet these 2 Aussie guys called Charlie and Guy, who are brothers, I think, and or friends. And I watched the Aussie football with them against France. And we get on really well. And then the Spanish girls come to the island. We all go on a night out, like 6 of us and loads more and friends. And the thing kind of goes, you drink at your hostel, and then everyone on the island goes to this bar called Sports Bar.
Original, love it.
It's like everyone goes there, and it's so funny. And then after that, on like 2 nights a week, there's a reggae club called I&I, which is open 2 nights a week. So we're all at Sports Bar. We all then go to I&I, and then I end up going back to the one of the girls. Like they had a hotel room they were sharing, and the 2 Aussie guys get with the other 2 Spanish girls, and then the next day we find out that the 3 Spanish girls had coordinated certain times that they could take each one of us back to that hotel. So that they would, one of them would go with one. So like Guy would have gone with one of the Spanish girls to the hotel, done whatever, and then gone back to the reggae bar. Then the next one, then they'd message saying, "We're coming back. You can go now," because they had one room, right? They go, and then
you guys are not the wiser.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then I end up staying the night there because we were the last ones. But it's like, what the hell? We just got coordinated into this. But it was quite funny. How that happened.
You're coerced.
But yeah, like I still message them. They're absolutely lovely and get on really well with them. But yeah, so okay, how did my trip go? So I went to Peru.
I have questions.
Okay.
Just jump straight back at that.
There's a lot of places, and then there's a lot of things happen after. I've done so much.
That's where. So, like I was saying before, like obviously jumping back just briefly to Greece, being on season it's very easy. It's very regimented. It's everything's done for you. The next step for me obviously is Australia. We've got the van. It's not coordinated. We've got ourselves, but it's a Western country.
Yeah,
it's
so easy.
It's easy. South America, Central America, on the other hand, is you are out there and it's survival in the most fun way possible. Because you, like, at the end of the day, you're not going to be without a place to stay. There's going to be places to stay in the majority of places.
Yeah, you'll always get somewhere.
As long as you've got your coach travel booked and you guard your passport with your life and your cards.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's everyone kind of thinks it's a bit dangerous. I think that they hear danger. I was talking to my friends the other day. We were playing some of the Xbox, I can't remember, and they were like, one of them was talking about at work, like they were talking about how dangerous El Salvador and Honduras are, and I'm like, I'd heard the stigma of them being really dangerous. No, I'm sorry.
You get that everywhere though. I remember, so when I went to Turkey, it's just Turkey as well. Years ago with my ex, we just wanted to go on a cheap holiday somewhere, but didn't want to just go to the sort of Marmaris or any of the popular places. We wanted to actually go somewhere we hadn't really heard of, somewhere really cool. So we found this place called Chirala, Turtle Bay. It's where like all the turtles go lay their eggs.
Oh wow, okay.
And, like, it's just like a really small, tiny beach town where all the locals go on holiday. It was really nice. Yeah. I remember the absolute uproar from my ex's family to me saying, "What are you thinking taking it to Turkey?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" So she's obviously really apprehensive. We already booked it, we paid for it. We didn't tell them until afterwards. We weren't like, "Oh, we're thinking of going here." And it's just Turkey. Like, I want to travel. I want to see everywhere. It's just a place in Europe. 2 weeks holiday. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're not going to be...
And then she goes really apprehensive about the whole thing. And then so when we actually get there, we realised the people are the nicest people in the entire world. The nicest people in the entire world who would not have... If you turn down their hospitality, they won't let you. It's unheard of. It's never been done before. And that is like what I imagine is the same for...
I think,
around anywhere. Because I watched... there's a TED Talk, a great TED Talk. I can't remember who it was by, but we'll probably find it afterwards at some point. And this guy who went to every country in the world or something like that. He backpacked the whole... Yeah, that's what it was. He had a challenge. Set a challenge for himself because he was a journalist and he was writing for a paper or a magazine where he was going to travel the world or travel the whole distance of European continent or whatever it was, can't remember, with no money whatsoever. He's not allowed to hold or have any money at all. So he's doing things like holding pillow fights in the streets for like $1 or $2, just so like he can get his next meal and next. And then he ends up staying in a load of people's houses and making amazing friends around the whole journey. And one thing he said was, every single country you go to, every single household, every single person said that, oh, everyone else says this place got a massive stigma, it's really dangerous, it's horrible. But it's not, it's amazing, it's lovely. And he had such amazing memories and hospitality from everyone there. But then every single one of them also said, for the next country over, just be careful. They do this, they do that, they worship this, they worship that, they're gross. It's everywhere you go, you're going to have that stigma.
I think it's just anywhere that's not your own country, people think is going to be a little bit offish. I mean, other than like you say, if you go to France and Germany, you'll be fine. Right? But like, you know, going to Turkey, are you going to be in any real danger now?
No,
unless you're stupid, like unless you're really stupid. But like, I mean,
in danger of having a really good time.
Yeah. But like my whole time, I never felt I did feel unsafe one place, which was this port town in Honduras, called La Ceiba, which is the shuttle driver I had. He was from that town. He said, yeah, don't be outside after like 8 or when it gets dark. Okay, great.
Yeah, as a white boy.
So then the next day I then go and get the ferry over to Utila, which is this place where I went scuba diving. It's like an island design for like backpackers and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah. But I then find out the day, like a couple of days later, 2 of my friends who I'll tell you about in a sec, I traveled with them for like 8 weeks. They arrived on the island, and then I said to them, like, what did you think of La Ceiba? And they went, yeah, it was great. We had a night out. And I was like, you what? Yeah. And they went, yeah, we went out until like 4 in the morning, and then they got the ferry at 8 a.m. And I was like, you went out in La Ceiba.
As soon as you listen to anybody else,
no, but to be fair, that place did feel dodgy. Like, to me, it did. Dodgy. I wasn't too keen on going out there, but that's the only place.
I mean, it's luck of the draw, though. You could bump into, see the wrong person or see something happen, if not.
But that was the only place I've ever felt a bit like, oh my god.
Well, okay then. So from sports bar.
So we did that. So
and that was in what country was that?
So that was in Belize. An island called Kikorka.
On the island. But, so from Kikorka, where did we head?
I went to a little town called San Ignacio.
Was this still traveling
Belize.
On your own, or was this?
So at this point, so in Kikorka, I'd met. Well, actually, on the ferry over with the Spanish girls, they got off on their island, and then I met these 2 Brits in their 30s. Oh my god, what were their names? They were so nice. I can't remember them, but they were telling me about this trip they were doing into the jungle in Guatemala. And they were saying like they'd already booked it, and it was like, I'll tell you about it after this. But so I ended up meeting these guys, right? And they're staying at my hostel as well. The hostel's god awful, but it was like it's so hard to book hostels on. It's like 2 that you could book online. The rest you have to book when you're on the island. And it gets booked out so in advance. Yeah, like awful.
Do you have to call them up then, or
you can have a call them up, or you have to know someone's already been there, and then they'll give you like their number and stuff. But like I go into my room. Turns out my brother, when he went backpacking, he went this past summer. He ended up being in the bed above where I was. It's just weird. But my room is this metal tin shack with like only just a sheet covering it, really. Ants all over the walls, no working fan. There's like 2 fans in there, but none working. Like by 6:30 in the morning, it is you are like baking hot in there. So you're out like early in the day. But that was my room, and then I met another guy called Ruud from the Netherlands. And me and the British guy that we met, like we were just having a drink at our hostel, and this boy called Ruud comes over. We go, what's your name, mate? And he goes, Ruud. And we both go, fruits at the same time. And he goes, no, Ruud, fruits. And
no, I am Groot.
So yeah, right. But so we end up having some drinks with him and another guy called Ariane from the Netherlands, and then we meet these 2 Germans called Richard and Rafa. Rafa's Swiss German. And we end up having such a good time. We go to this karaoke bar, then we go to sports bar, and then we go out to I&I.
Just off topic quickly, what's the karaoke song? Your karaoke song?
Careless Whisper.
Ooh.
I have done occasionally. I've done with or without you, and it's been shocking. I can't sing. Like, I really can't sing.
That's not the point. That's really not the point.
But so we go on this night out. We have a really good time, and then those 5 of us, or 6 of us, we end up going and all booking this trip in Guatemala, where only 1,000 people visit this place a year. So like literally a month and a half earlier, I'd been to Machu Picchu, which is 2,000 people visit every hour.
Yeah, do you think it's overrated, or not necessarily the views, but in terms of the
it's really
crowds
good.
and
it's really, really good.
Still, yeah,
unbelievable amount of mosquitoes, but it's really, really good. Such a cool place. But so this place is 1,000 people a year. It's the largest Mayan pyramid ever built, but it's
in
50 kilometers.
Guatemala.
In the world, yeah, but it's in Guatemala.
No, but in
yeah, so it's like on the border of Guatemala and Mexico, but you have to walk 50 kilometers there, 50 kilometers back.
Still, it's cool.
But it's through the jungle, and it's
100%.
It wasn't that expensive either. It was like 250 quid for accommodation, which was your tent. Food, we ended up getting like this banging fried chicken one night, and I remember we had a smoke. We had a smoke after one of the days, and there's one piece of fried chicken left, like in this locked wardrobe, and there's just all 3 of us walking really slowly, like towards it, going we're so high, and we're like all trying to open this thing, and then like one of the people that's running our trek, like one of the guides, he sees us, and we all just like turn and look at him at the same time, and he goes, "What do you want?" And we go, "The chicken." And he goes, "Okay," and he opens it, and we shared this one tiny bit of fried chicken between like 5.
It was the nicest piece of fried chicken ever.
It was so good. But like, so I remember the first day.
Can I pause you there for 1 second? I'm just gonna hit pause.
Yeah.
Over here. Just because